Backstage buzz, we prep for the sound. The curtain falls and the crowd's all round. The night's still young and the stage is set. Our voice is ready, no time for regret. Wisdom and laughter in a verbal embrace. Tonight we're ruling this electric space. Wonder dream when it's time for us. Diving deep in after show debates. Acolyte with hot takes so contentious. Hearts race on, our pulse relentless. Yeah, we're alive with every mic. Yeah, like the stars and like the night. Yeah.
What it do, Naysayer Nation? We are back for another edition of the Aftershow Podcast. I'm, of course, Sadat the Gamer.
I'm Casual Avenger.
Joined by the imposter, who sometimes appropriates the identity of Casual Avenger. But speaking of, this is one of my favorite types of Aftershow Podcast episodes, one where we get to hear from someone that's not Jay Shockblast. It's always great. It's originally, supposed to be three of us, but, Casual Avenger is, working his way through his crippling deep dish pizza addiction. So until then, we're going to be holding it down as usual. But, occasionally we have someone to fill up that third chair. And we got a special one this week because while Jay Shockblast was out being a big shot over in LA, meeting people at Summer Game Fest, he brought a guest. This is another one of my favorite guests, brother. Jay, you know him better than I do. You want to bring him on?
Yeah, absolutely. Do I get to press the button too?
You get to do the intro and press the button.
All right, cool. He hosts the Spawnies, and he is the CEO of Spawn on Me, Mr. Kahlief Adams.
Hello. We get a time.
And I have it on good authority that he actually can cook.
Oh,
I am team he can cook, by the way.
I see. I appreciate you first of all, I appreciate both of y'all. Thank you so much for having me. I will throw up the fist as well because you gotta do that real fast.
Right.
Also, I love timing in terms of doing shows like this because literally as soon as you introed me, my doorbell rang and it popped into this conversation. So I was like, no, but yeah, I'm excited and I can cook. I can throw down and people front on me all the time. And act like I don't know what I'm doing, but Jay, supporter.
Dude, listen,
and friend.
I think one of the coolest things, and I had to find it myself in Dead Space. You are immortalized. You can cook according to Dead Space, and everything there is trying to kill you. So I trust them.
It was one of the coolest things. I've been doing this work for 12 years now. The show has been, live and kicking for 10. And there have been a lot of fun things I've been able to get a chance to do in my time in this industry. But being immortalized and being the literally only person on the planet in that game with an Easter egg in that way is one of the coolest things. I will never, never, ever just take that for granted. So massive shout out to the folks over at Motive for because I didn't know that was going to happen. That was a total surprise to me. As well, so it was very cool to see that, and now that be forever in the Dead Space universe is the man who is dead in the toilet in the bathroom after Paris's food killed them. It wasn't my food.
Gotcha.
It was Paris's food. He killed that man in that bathroom in Dead Space.
Love it. All right, let's do business first. Okay, tell me about the Spawnies and when is it? I know it's your award show. What do we got going on this year?
Yeah, so the Spawnies, we're going to be in year 4 of our show. We've been doing the show for a minute now. It's our Game of the Year show, kind of bringing together all the best games that our fans have voted on. They vote on everything in our show, from nominations to the winners. They even sometimes will tell us what they want to see in terms of skits and stuff like that as well, which has been a lot of fun. But yeah, we've been rocking and rolling for a couple of years now, and we're just trying to expand the show this year into going into that next kind of tier of performance and entertainment. I think what we do is very special in the fact that we focus on showcasing underrepresented devs in the space. So folks who don't get a chance to really be seen by a lot of people out in the world. We try to make sure that those folks are getting some love, and the games that they make are being shared and showcased. And we've been doing really, really well. Excuse me for the frog in my throat. I think right now, currently, we're probably the second biggest award show on the planet. Nice. In terms of what we're doing in the space. So, man, it is a lot of fun. It's a lot of work. We're going to be doing it again in Black History Month of next year, so we have some time to get it prepped and ready.
Let's go.
But I have to say, it is one of the most fun things I get a chance to do outside of Spawn on Me and all the other wild stuff that I get a chance to do, is bringing that culture and gaming together in a way that no one else really can. So it's super dope, man. I'm really excited for it, and I hope people get a chance to watch it.
Yeah, definitely. We'll definitely, Sadat and I will be there for sure. We'll be watching, and obviously February is a little bit ways away, so we'll be reminding everybody along the way. So obviously we just saw each other out at Summer Game Fest. Yeah. Was there anything you got to play that really stood out to you?
Oh man, I mean, getting a chance to see Monster Hunter Wilds. I keep getting that mixed up because they keep why'd you put another W in there? Why for what? But Monster Hunter was really, really good. I was actually really surprised. I'm not a big Monster Hunter fan, but coming away from that demo, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe what they're trying to do here with the systems that they're building. All of that stuff is really, really cool. I think it's Death Sprint 66 was the name of that game. It's basically like if you had F-Zero and Death Race, but the cars are human beings.
Oh,
it's like so fun. It's like you running around these curves and running around people while all these obstacles are trying to kill you. That game is going to be a lot of fun if you're a person who likes to like chase times and stuff like that. That's going to be really fun. And I think I came away from the first Descendant really impressed too.
That's the Dots game.
Yeah, I played a little bit of there was a preview that happened not too long ago, plus the stuff that was at Summer Games Fest, and I actually came away from that game really impressed. I was like, oh, this is gonna be, if you have that looter shooter kind of vibe, and you're like, oh, I missed the Division, but I want the Division to be super sci-fi. This game is gonna be that for you. So I'm there's a bunch of stuff that's coming, man. Like, we as gamers are eating good. Like, we have a lot of good stuff in the mix coming, man. Like, a lot of dope stuff.
Definitely eating even better than whoever eats J-Shock last seasonless cooking.
All right, listen, we have this fight going on. All right, I just don't use salt. Like, I just don't.
Thank you.
I don't need to. Like, I use like literally every other flavor on the sun. There are things that have salt mixed into it.
Okay,
but like, I just don't like a lot of salty stuff.
That's reasonable. I think it depends too. Like, I know a lot of folks who, you know, and Sadat, you can probably attest to this. Like, there are like 4 magic seasonings in every black household. It's Lawry's, like Lawry seasoned salt, paprika. You need to have garlic powder in your house somewhere.
Always.
And you know, for liquid gold, you got to have at least 3 or 4 hot sauces in the crib. So,
see, I use all of that.
Yeah, so that you're good. You're good.
I don't count seasoned salt as salt.
It's salt, but it's seasoned.
I get a little upscale. I go with the big box of kosher salt.
Sea
salt.
That is a man of culinary taste. That man uses sea salt.
Sprinkle that over my Wagyu beef burger.
Oh, so this man got Wagyu? Oh, this man rich. This man is cultured and rich. This man got food. Now, the real testament of a connoisseur, especially a connoisseur of salt, is if you're a person that's like, oh, I just have pink sea salt in my crib. Then people be like, oh, see, you be chilling in the freaking Maldives every weekend, hanging out in the Hamptons.
I'm not showing off that much. Once I hit a new tax bracket, I hit that sea salt.
I ain't mad. That's reasonable.
Listen, only one of us has won 3 straight chili cook-offs at Bo's. So
I feel like now after everything you told me, I feel like it was rigged.
No way.
I feel like you definitely bribed the judges.
Listen,
some corruption was going on.
I wish I could cook my chili for everybody. It is.
I'm dying to have some now. Now that I know that you're like I'm
going to test. I'm going to test this one day.
It's like the only thing I can cook well.
I just know that if you hand me a steak and you didn't at any point sprinkle any salt on it, I'm throwing it at you.
I would use Montreal seasoning. I would have Montreal seasoning, which I believe has salt in it.
Reasonable. Montreal seasoning is on point. You can use it on. That's a good steak seasoning.
But I'm not just going to throw salt on it, like just salt. No, I'm going to marinate it, and I'll throw some Montreal seasoning on it as it's grilling. Delightful.
I'll definitely let you know how mid it is.
What's your steak temperature? Because I know the people who are demons like well done with ketchup.
My brother likes it like still walking, so
okay.
I have to like let it off early. So gotcha. I'm definitely not cultured enough to like actually measure my temperature. I know you're probably supposed to, but I don't have time for that. I go by look.
Here's a quick
right.
tip. Here's a quick tip for you. Here's a tip that I learned from a chef that I know. So if you take the palm of your hand, everybody at home, put your hand up so you can do it. So this meaty part of your hand is the steak, right? Mm-hmm. And when you pull your fingers in, that's a certain level of doneness, right? So you put your pinky down, that's rare. Put your ring finger down, that's medium rare. Medium finger, you feel that part, you gotta poke the fat part of your thing. That's medium. That's. Am I doing it backwards? Yeah, I might be doing it backwards.
I'm dumb.
It's backwards. It's thumb is well done, and then you're going the opposite.
I feel like I'm doing gang signs.
but it's like if you can feel the meaty part of your finger on your palm.
I feel like I'm NLE Chopper right now.
Yo, what up, y'all? How y'all doing? But like this is actually well done. So that level of meatiness, that pressure is well done, and you go the other way around.
Yeah, I don't want that.
It's an easy way to tell, and it works every time. You don't even have to look at it; you just touch it, you just hit it.
Very good. I'm loving that we're doing cooking lessons right here from the man notoriously being able to cook. See, I'm reversing it, taking it back.
I'm just saying.
So there we go.
I mean, you never know what you're going to talk about in the after show. We spent like the first 20 minutes of last week yelling about the Celtics.
Champions. That's right.
I'm gonna burn that
hat.
Yeah, my favorite thing about being in LA was walking around in my Celtics hat the whole time, especially right across from. I guess it's called Crypto Arena now or something like that. Yeah, but it's always going to be the Staples Center.
Yeah.
So I walked up to Greg Miller and I asked him if like him being at the Xbox mixer was like me walking around wearing a Celtics hat in LA since, he's Mr. PlayStation.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Now he's Mr. PC.
I thought, no, his answer to me, because he was talking to Jez Corden at the time, and his answer to me was no, PlayStation and Xbox are together against PC now, I believe.
Yep, that's how it goes. Console versus I don't know quite how that works because Xbox has been working with PC for so long, and Sony's working with PC. So I feel like this is a nice little ecosystem that's developing here. Still PlayStation versus Xbox to some degree, but it's mostly becoming like PlayStation versus everyone else, and PC is just maybe PlayStation versus Nintendo. I guess like that's what it is. but even then, Nintendo kind of occupies its own separate niche space where there's really no overlap at all.
1,000% at this point. It's all going to become one thing at some point. Like,
Yeah,
when the consoles actually decide.
I'm dreading that day when one company just has just a monopoly. Like it's just one console. I mean, it's not even going to be a console. It's going to be basically like Netflix. You're just going to be able to have the subscription, and you're going to be able to play whatever through that subscription. I just saw Amazon announce that they're doing this partnership with Xbox, where they're going to have select compatible Amazon Fire Sticks, and you're going to be able to just play Game Pass on there. All you need is a certain Fire Stick, a controller, and a Game Pass subscription, and you'll be able to play all the Game Pass stuff on whatever device you have connected with your Fire Stick. It's crazy.
It's gonna be dope.
All right, so sorry, what were you gonna say?
I was just saying I'm ready for it. I'm excited for it.
So I've seen you talking about this quite a bit. The whole brouhaha and controversy with Dr. Disrespect, and I guess now even Nick Merckx. Yeah, I want to go right to that.
Yeah, let's get right to it.
You've definitely been very vocal about it the last few days. So I guess
it literally broke on our podcast while we were while we were in the middle of the podcast. The story, the guy
that's right, last week
literally tweeted. It just threw off the whole show.
I mean, there's a lot of angles to it, and all of them are, dependent upon how you feel about things, and if you have a major thought or a minor thought about all of those things. But it's a lot of like the thing that is the most interesting about all of this for me is, one, when you build a brand around being kind of a jerk, it feels like karma is just waiting around the corner, right? Like, I think I've seen a lot of different conversations that have happened over the past 72 to kind of 96 hours, right? A lot of it has been, of course, about the safety of children online. That is, of course, a conversation that we all understand because we're all adults, and understand the reasons why you need to keep kids safe online. Then you have the other layer of it is like what happens when content creators get a little bit too big for their britches and they don't understand the place that they actually reside in, and what happens when that ego then pushes them further into dangerous territory. And then you also have the layers that are around, like, so what does this mean for the content creation ecosystem, right? Everyone now is so, like, holding and clutching their pearls, talking about, I don't ever want to see another video game person in a game again. I don't ever want to see, it's terrible. What's going to happen? All these brands need to not do that. The real answer to that is, like, you need better people who are representatives of these brands. People who, like, and it kind of is infantilizing to the people who do that work. I do a lot of that work in my day job, in the gaming industry. As a person who vets a lot of talent all the time, your job is to go through with a fine-tooth comb and look at all the stuff that people are doing. And of course, you're going to miss stuff, right? Everyone is human. No one is going to catch every small thing that a creator does, because no one has that amount of time to focus on one human being for that amount of time to scrutinize everything that they do. So it winds up being this amalgam of all these things that wind up happening that puts you in a good spot to say, like, yeah, we want to rock with this person, or no, we don't want to rock with this person. The thing that is interesting about Dr. Disrespect is that it's not like he didn't have incidents before, that people still gave him chances and gave him opportunities to make money and to get bigger and to grow and do all of that stuff. You have that, plus combined with the fact that you have a fan base that is fairly young, more than likely mostly young men, who are growing up in a space where this toxic level of bravado, and you have to be this dude who is talking crap to people and, having these weird kind of relationships with people. In that stuff, that's a layer of this conversation that people keep forgetting, is like, the industry can do what it needs to do to keep those people out or keep them boxed in when bad things happen, but they only get to these levels of prominence and these levels of fame because of the fans that are building them up to do this. Without those fans, you don't see a Dr. Disrespect. You don't see a Nick Merckx. You don't see those folks get there. And again, everyone is trying to build a fandom, right? You're doing it here on your show and doing it in a fantastic way. That's really smart and paying attention to it. I'm trying to do it in the ways that I do on Spawn on Me. But I understand that my audience is smart. And I'm trying to grow a smart audience. Most of the content you see these days is not smart.
No.
It is extremely dumb. And it plays on the fact that it's dumb. And it plays on the fact that it plays to an audience that is young and impressionable and doesn't pay attention to the world around them. Because when we were that age, we didn't either. Right?
So I was actually very woke when I was young. And back then it meant something different.
Right, but that was the thing though, right? Like, but there was I was talking to a friend of mine who works in the gaming industry, who's also a professor. And I was like, yo, fam, like, what am I missing? Am I just an old fart who doesn't understand what's happening anymore? Like,
Yes.
am I just aged? And the answer is yes. But but am I missing something here that is like really, I don't want to be a hater, right? Like, I'm going into this stuff being like, maybe this isn't for me, but it doesn't mean that it's bad. And she was like, no, you're in a space now where this generation and the generation after it doesn't care about information in that way. Being smart isn't as aspirational as it was in the generation that we grew up, or
Correct.
the generation that you two grew up in. We're probably around the same age. Maybe you're probably 10 years younger than I am.
Yeah, Jay's about 20 years older, I think.
See, that's what I'm saying, right? Like, I'll be 60 this year. How old, Jay?
I'm 43.
Yeah, we're about the same age. So like that, when we grew up, there was a layer of that conversation. I was like, yo, you got to try to be smart, because it's not even just a matter of like doing it for yourself, but like it was a reason that you were able to kind of get opportunities to do stuff. But we're in an age now where you don't have to be talented, you don't have to be smart, you don't have to be entertaining. You just have to say shit really loudly. Like that's just. I'm sorry, I don't know if I can cuss.
No, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
but like
you can fucking cuss. It's fine.
All right, oh, fuck that. Yeah. So, but that's the thing is like you don't have to do any of that stuff that we try to do in the work that we do, right? So all of that leads to getting people like Dr. Disrespect who can garner contracts with the San Francisco 49ers or with Turtle Beach or with all these other folks who are paying him millions of dollars
Right.
to be shitty.
Yeah. That's
And
pretty.
then you go into the whole grooming part, and then you go into the whole cheating part, and then you go into the whole racism part, and all that stuff. Eastward, yeah, fuck you, bro. But like all that stuff is
Correct
in
answer.
that mix, right? Shout out to Eastwood. But like all that stuff is in that mix, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like these are the entertainers that we are growing as a culture in the streaming culture. These are the people who are the ones who are getting the bag because they are just doing the thing that doesn't take. It's the least common denominator of entertainment, and it works. So there's a lot of angles to the Dr. Disrespect stuff and the Nick Merckx stuff, but I think those are parts that I think about a lot.
And it's just getting crazier and crazier. I mean, for people like Old Man Eastwood who aren't on Twitter, Dr. Disrespect is, of course, was at one point the biggest streamer in the world, primarily on Twitch, and then he got banned under mysterious circumstances. And then, of course, the story, a former employee last week shed some light, alleging that he got banned for having inappropriate conversations with a minor, and things have spiraled from there. He's not done himself any favors, but first the big thing that happened was that the gaming company that he co-founded fired him. So they're no longer associated with him. And then just earlier today, we got some even more news. We kind of knew this was going to happen, but the other shoe dropped. He was officially demonetized by YouTube, which is the platform he migrated to after Twitch Fandom. So he's going to have to. I mean, it was kind of like as soon as I heard what happened, what allegedly happened, I knew it was just a matter of time before Dr. Disrespect just became a kick streamer.
It's on the way. Like the kick. I mean, and they even
Rumble.
said it too, right? I mean, they said it too. They were like, we haven't ruled out basically pulling him into the funnel. But here's the thing and I'm happy you talked about it, Sadat, because I think the thing that bugged me out about the initial layers. Not even the fact that he admitted publicly that he had dirty talk with a minor.
Obviously, I'm glad this came out, but
Yeah.
can we just say he has like the worst PR team I've ever seen in my life?
Yeah, for 4 years. 4 years to come up with something.
Fam, do you know how stupid, you know how dumb you have to be? Like, this is PR 101. This is like damage control 101. This is the stuff that they teach you that you have management teams for. To be like, yo, shut the hell up. Don't say anything until you get the lawyers in the room.
Because remember, to this point, as far as I've seen, no actual evidence has come out, like no physical evidence of these messages have been released. The only screen recorded messages we've seen was from this trans content creator who alleged that Dr. Disrespect was basically using her for services in exchange for a partnership, which he reneged on and then blocked her. But outside of that, which sadly there are actually people saying that him being into trans women was somehow worse than him talking to minors, which is definitely on brand for that side of the internet. like did not surprise me at all. But so far, that's all that's come out. Like none of the alleged messages between him and the minor. All we had was this one guy on Twitch who used to work on Twitch, who's been like grifting off of the information, trying to sell concert tickets, which immediately blew up on him. So if that was all that was out there, he would have kind of been okay. Like, we don't know what they have behind the scenes, but as far as the public was concerned, especially with someone of his type of brand, all the Nick Mercs, everyone was on his side because they were like, "Oh, here comes another witch hunt." The woke left coming. Like he had that cover. If he just said this is a conspiracy, it's made up, like they would have rocked with it because no one came through with the screenshots.
Fam, this is the part about fandom that people don't understand. Like you said, yes, there were a lot of speculation. A lot of people came out after the fact. I mean, me having known a lot of the people who on day one after that initial allegation came out were like, yo, like there was a lot of winks and nods on the internet from people who I understand have positions that would either know or
I heard about this 2 months ago.
I heard about this casually. I heard about this when he filmed somebody in the bathroom in EP. Yeah. Like, again, he's been doing wild stuff like this for a minute. But because the allegations came out and then everybody was like, well, all these baseless allegations are coming out of nowhere. Who are these people saying this stuff? And I'm looking at the list of people who are like winking and nodding, being like, yeah, fam, we kind of, that kind of stuff. And then all of his fans, this is where your fans messed it up for you. Because all of his fans were like, where the evidence at? Yo, we don't see nothing. What happened? Why we don't have text? Who is this person? Da 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 da. That automatically makes the internet dig. That automatically raises the level of scrutiny towards a conversation that you could have just let it be and let it rock. If you let it rock, he might have gotten away with some of it, and or at least the stuff that he would have gotten, like kicked around a bunch would have been, like you said, like just online people talking about online stuff and talking crap because they want to see him take an L. But his fans messed it up for him. They were the ones like, yo, let's see the evidence. And then when they brought the evidence, oh, well, the age of consent in Kentucky is 16. And the age of consent in Louisiana is 16. Oh, did you know the age of consent in Maine was 16?
Oh, Josh Giddeyed him.
Yo, I was like, everybody and their mama became a lawyer overnight talking about the age of consent, you dirty bastards. Like, that's gross. Like, what are y'all doing? Crazy, yo. I was bugging.
Even like, and that's the third thing, even if there were screenshots, like the trans creator literally had screen recordings of their DMs, and I was seeing his fans saying fake.
Oh, we live in a really stupid time.
Yeah,
I mean, because people are dumb, the internet does dumb stuff,
and the technology has to be fair has gotten so advanced that you can fake a lot of stuff now.
I mean, even if you were to go through the whole process, like if you were that trans woman who was having that, conversations and stuff with Doc, your motivations to fake that have to be really great.
Yeah.
That's an embezzlement move, right? And you're
Right.
like, oh well, if I really wanted to get the bag, I'd be like, yo, Doc, you gotta hit me with the bag, or I drop this.
Right.
I drop this info. She dropped that joint for $3.99. It was like, bang, outside, just like dropped it. Was like, yo, this cat is doing some wild stuff that y'all don't know about. And he talked about it, and he said he admitted to it online.
Not only did he admit to having it, like the crazy thing, he tried to spin it like that statement, like the defiance at the end, like I'll be back. Like, bro, you literally just admitted to having an inappropriate conversations with them. And the crazy thing is, he edited out minor
like 5 times,
like multiple times. He edited. He's like, maybe I shouldn't mention minor. Like he didn't know that the edit feature was public. Like we can see it. Like we can see you wrote minor. Like,
I mean, that's what sociopaths do, though, because he's him, and like no one ever pushes back against him, and when they do, he usually wins. So he thought he'd be able to just be him, laugh his way through it.
I mean, even accounting for that level of delusion, like in the current climate, there's absolutely no way he thought he was going to rock with that. They were going to let that rock. Like hold up, like hold on. All right, it's like, yeah, sure, okay, fighting against the wokes, hot women in video games, protect the kids or whatever, whatever. But literally protect the kids, like he thought the same movement that's like yelling at trans people saying we got to protect the kids would just look the other way when he said, oh, by the way, there was an incident, but it's not that big a deal, just had some conversations that leaned into like, what do you mean? What does that mean?
What does that mean? I mean,
literally, what does that mean?
I know what it means. He was freaking he was sexting a child. That's what he was doing.
That's what another anonymous Twitch employee said. Like they added some more details. Like we haven't seen it, but the fact that he mentioned it specifically makes me think that whatever actually happened is much worse than what he said.
1,000%.
What he said than how he spun it.
1,000%.
Because I'm thinking like, why wouldn't he just deny it? Like, there must be like some like crazy transcripts just floating around.
You know what it is, fam? It's people are not smart.
No.
Like, like the funny thing about all this stuff, and I think the funniest part about, because this is not a funny subject, but the way people have been maneuvering has been really dumb and stupid. The Nick Merck stuff has been the most funny part of all of this.
Bro is moonwalking away from this man.
Fam is doing the Homer Simpson go into the bush. Literally doing that, talking about, we play games together, but, I only talk to him, he's doing the wig, and we're not friends. And I was like, you have been on how many streams with this dude over your career? You are telling me that you haven't had intimate conversations, friend conversations about, even not even like we homies and we boys, like we gonna be rocking together. Like somebody throw a punch at you, I'm gonna take the punch for you. Not even that kind of stuff, but like professional friendship in a way where I know you've been doing collaborative stuff together. You do it all the time. I'm sure at the level that both of you are at, that you're having conversations about deals that you want to do, business ventures you want to go into, ways you want to kind of do that kind of collaborative work. There are layers of conversation that are not just, I just saw that dude over there. You said, what's up? We play some Fortnite together. Like, that's not the way this works. So to try to front your way through it and try to make it seem like there's no relationship there that you need to pay attention to. Like, most of my male friends, we have long conversations about a lot of different stuff. There are layers of all of that stuff of like, my closest circle, I talk about everything from what I ate to marital issues and problems. Like, yo, I had a fight with my wife this week. Yo, I'm sad, I'm mad, whatever. These cats, they have had, at least in that spectrum, they have had conversations about their real lives. You know what I mean? Like, he's been there long enough to be there during the time of the filming the stuff in the bathroom. Definitely was there during the times when he was cheating on his wife. So, like, be trying to front like dude ain't know. I'm not saying he knew about this, but he at least understood that Doc has some stuff going. There's no way you can't.
If we're gonna pull back the curtain a little bit, whenever the after show ends, Sadat and I both go find our favorite stuffed animal, and we both like cuddle with it together. That's our bonding. And sorry, everybody had to know that, but
that's beautiful though. I appreciate that.
No,
but you know what? That animal is an adult. I ain't read know that you're a pedophile. Yeah, man. Like, he put that big old freaking message out, and I'm like, yo, what are you talking about, fam? Like, dumbest lawyers in the game. Like,
yeah, absolutely insane.
And he had to know that like eventually this was gonna come, and it was 4 years ago. Like, I saw a Slasher who was one of the first people to like tweet about it when it happened, and like kind of got a little ostracized because of it. Yep. He like retweeted, I think either yesterday or today. It was like 4 years to the day, and I just feel like you would be more prepared. You know what I mean? And you wouldn't
think.
Yeah, but that's the arrogance that builds up. You know, it like I can't envision ever putting myself in that position. You know what I mean?
No.
Like, I just don't understand how people like let it get to their head and do that, because
I want to know how he got paid. Like what the hell happened? Like he like Twitch sat on this for 4 years and paid out his contract despite him clearly apparently violating. Like, what something that had to have gone down. Like, this doesn't make sense.
My theory about what happened on the Twitch side of things is that when they implemented Whispers were supposed to be private.
Right.
And I think either someone raised a flag and they had to go behind his back and look through his stuff to figure out who that was, which is a violation of whatever the contract was, right, and the stipulations of why Whispers were there. I don't know what the morality clause was in his potential in his Twitch partnership contract. I haven't even looked at mine, and God knows, however, I don't even know what the morality clause is for me at this point. But I also know if somebody who was like, "Hey, Kahlief," that's my minor voice. "Hi, Kahlief, I'm trying to hit you up and see what's good. I know you're going to TwitchCon in a couple of weeks. It would be cool to see you." I'm like, "Get the hell out of my damn message. I don't know who the hell you are." Like that, I don't care if you're 45. I don't care if you're 65. Bruh, sis, whoever it may be, I don't know who the hell you are. I ain't trying to meet up with you on some, yo, we gonna hang out.
Using whispers at all is just crazy, bro. Like that's nasty work.
You know what whispers are for? Codes. That's what whispers are for. You throw me a game code in a whisper, I'll look at it. Most of the other stuff that comes through a whisper, there ain't no goddamn reason for you to. You have so many other avenues to hit me up.
Yeah,
whispers are not the way to do it.
That's why I've like stopped reading Xbox and PlayStation messages. I'm like, that is literally the worst way to message me. Like, send me something, like send me an email. Jeez, like anything but an Xbox message.
Yeah,
but like, yeah, same thing with whispers. You know, like I didn't even know it was a thing.
I exclusively send Jay whispers.
Yeah, I mean that checks out.
But yeah, like I think Twitch. I think there will be a conversation about what happened with Twitch at some point.
At some point, I know that it had to be related to them covering their own ass. That had to be it.
It's both. I think it's covering your own ass. Plus, when you're dealing with an incident with a minor involved, the stakes are raised in lots of different avenues.
100%.
Like, you have to make sure that minor is safe. You have to make sure that kid is not going to get harassed by the person who supposedly did that thing, because they are supposed to know better and that person is in the wrong. You can't put the onus on the kid,
right?
Because it's not the kid's fault. The kid is a kid. So like, I don't know what the legal stipulations are. I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal conversations in that way. But man, even if Twitch did their thing to kind of wait and see, and figure out a way to make it go away by paying the Dr. Disrespect to go away. That is brand salvation in the ways you think about it. Because think about how often and how many underage kids are on Twitch. Twitch has the fan base of Twitch is super young.
Yeah, I think it's like what, 13 up.
Probably. Like I would love to see the demographics of what the Twitch viewership is, but I am sure that it is much younger than us, and much younger than the 25 to 30 to 35 demographic that most gaming is trying to hit. So if that's the case, if you have a space where the biggest player on your channel is now a predator, then you as a business are like, oh, this can tank all of that. Because once Congress hears that, you know what I mean? Because that's the thing that levels itself up, right? Yeah. That gets into the news cycle. Then other people are like, is Twitch a place for predators? That's when you get the ABC News, voiceover joint. And
because Twitch has already been going through issues off and on with their adult content, because they have a very healthy amount of streamers who specifically specialize in driving people to their OnlyFans, and that's always been kind of a weird issue and then I'm seeing that a lot of Dr. Disrespect offenders are trying to deflect to, like, oh well, he had some conversations, but he's not showing his boobs to 13-year-olds. But fair, but also he's a fucking pedophile.
I can
those
actually
aren't trying to meet up with them at TwitchCon.
Yeah.
I think for Eastwood's comment, I think this is actually something that I've thought about a lot in the last few days, because listen, it's so to me it proves how easy it is not to be Dr. Disrespect. Okay. Because I have had to obviously over the years interact with lots of kids. It's Lego games or that. All right, it is what it is. I've literally watched people that have been on following my channel grow up. I've seen them as 12-year-olds become men. You know what I mean? Yep. And I think that's awesome. And some of them are actually really good friends of mine now. But we kept it business. Okay, you're chatting with me while we're playing Fortnite. All right, I can tell you're young. That's the extent of what we're going to talk about. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's not complicated. It's not hard to do. You have to understand that there is, you are in a position of power as the adult, and not only as the adult that these kids are looking up to. They look at you different no matter how you want to do it, and it's just so easy to not put yourself in that position.
Yeah, it's so easy to not flirt with underage people and try to meet them in person to do things with. It's so easy.
It's so easy. Anyway, sorry for the long rant, but
no. This is exactly why we would have you here.
I'm just this is one of those moments in the space where we continue to see a lot of folks who have been permanently online. I was talking to somebody about this the other day about the idea of, because I was thinking about Nick Merckx in his current state of being, right? Because he wasn't doing this. It's funny when the kind of curtain comes off, right? And people start to show their true selves over the time that they do stuff. But I think about the people who have gotten in trouble most recently, right? Or gotten into controversy most recently.
The Diddler, Drizzy.
I mean, but think about it. These folks have been in spaces where they have been coddled by their audiences for a very long time. Nick Merckx has been streaming since he was 16, 17. You're not a fully fledged built adult yet. And you're making money, you're getting fame, you're getting all of this stuff. Drake too, he's Captain Degrassi. You know what I mean? He was talented. He's talented. He's a talented soul. I don't think Nick and Doc are talented. Yeah. I think they do a thing that garners fame, but I don't think they're talented.
Right.
So I think it's a different story. But when you're in that ecosystem where you're being coddled and you have a lot of fans that are coming to you and being like, you can do nothing wrong. And if you do something wrong, we will financially support you when you do. You have no reason to not do anything that you want. And you have no repercussions. You have no one who's going to check you on it. And you have people who will cover for you when those things happen. And this is what we've seen with him, with Doc. We've seen it with a whole bunch of other folks in that space. It was interesting to see Tim the Tat Man try to have his moment where he backed away from it. Ninja was also like stuff too. Like, everybody's like, yo, Shroud, backing out of this.
Shroud said apparently Shroud like ghosted Doc right after he got banned from Twitch.
Yeah,
because he was like, I mean, you only get a Twitch ban for no reason, which is
stupid.
Which is fit. Like Shroud, especially, is a smart guy, so he probably was like, wait a minute, Twitch just banned the biggest streamer in the world from their platform and gave no reason.
And everybody else who's in that flock are like, there's got to be something wrong with Twitch. And I'm like, look at your mans.
Yeah.
Your mans did something wrong. How you going to blame that on the platform, friend? Like, and it's crazy. Last point. Twitch has let so much shit slide over the time that Twitch has been in the space. They have let wild shit happen on the platform.
I've literally seen people make overt death threats, or just like literally say, "I'm going to unalive you," not in a video game.
Yes,
and they're just like, yeah.
I remember the old Wild West days of Justin TV. Justin TV was almost a porn site way back in the day because people was smashing left or right. 2:00 in the morning, yo, that joint was BET uncut. Cut, double cut, all the cut.
That is where I went for my WWE and UFC streams.
That too? Like, there was no IP infringement. You know, like, yo, I'm gonna go watch this NBA and watch this pay-per-view on Twitch. You could be looking up like WrestleMania 11.
Oh yeah, like, very often.
Very often. So I'm like, to not understand that, like, from a platform that has been trying to do better over its time and has gotten better at policing itself, becoming a space that is more inclusive, doing all of those things, to not understand that, like, maybe your mans did some wild stuff.
Like, that never occurred. Like,
never occurred to them because you have a dumb fan base.
Had to be, because it's not like Doc was like this overt political streamer. Like, it's not like it was one thing if he was like Destiny, constantly engaged in like these hot button political conversations. He was just some goofy guy in a mustache who played video games, like
doing a fake Chinese accent.
Yeah, it was
supposedly he understands Mandarin Chinese, but also there's a lot of shit that was in those conversations that I was like, nah, that's kind of racist, fam. I don't know.
Oh, whatever is it? Like at some point I'll be like, I don't know. Like, no, like, you don't, like, they didn't tell you have a contract with them. You're telling me they just banned you with no reason out of the blue, you in breach of your contract, where knowing that they'd have to pay you millions of dollars for just because. Like,
I'm just saying, it is what it is. Truth always comes out.
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of is a microcosm of like what is happening online in general. Like, because if it's not like that, you've got like the absolute grifters that are out there. Like, we're kind of chatting about this a little bit. Like, just the people that are like always like who's Grums, like this guy that's come out of nowhere, you know, and we know Voldemort. You know, we don't need you to know about Voldemort. That's it's wild to me to see like the way that people can just latch on to negativity and turn it into this big thing, and the way that, like, you talk about how like the average audience right now is dumb. They're also angry and like for some reason gravitate towards that material. And like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend I don't rant from time to time, but like, I feel like I keep it professional. You know, I feel like I keep it grounded. I feel like I keep it like on point on like, you know, but like, it just feels like everything is like every minor detail these days.
And it's not even just the negativity. It's like it's the fact that a lot of these guys end up getting just audience captured because because it'd be one thing if like you can agree or disagree with what they have to say, but it's the fact that they understand that if they say certain things and make their audience believe certain things, whether they're true or not, they will get money and attention. So that becomes their priority. So they never challenge their audience. They never challenge their misconceptions. They never push back on them. They just give them what their lowest id is demanding, and just be like, oh well, I'm just like that's what we were covering with Grums. Like Grums was literally like he's particularly targeting Del Walker, who is a dev we follow.
Yep.
And like he'll literally just take a Del tweet, and if it doesn't hit all the grifter check boxes, he'll just make it up. Like he'll literally just lie about what's in the tweet, and he'll actually post it because he knows his audience isn't going to read it. Like
they don't read.
He'll literally post the original tweet and lie about what he's saying in it, and as long as he hits the certain buzzwords, woke and DEI, they'll just go to work sending him racial slurs and everything like that.
My favorite part about all of that stuff, because it's all extremely stupid. So like Grums is a major grifter in a lot of those ways, and you have so many folks who are in the kind of GG space, GG 2.0 space, who have the worst reading comprehension. They can't read. They can't understand simple logic to save themselves. I am deathly afraid that when all of it goes down and the EMP hits, they're going to be the first ones who don't understand left and right and figure out how to say there or there. They will not understand any of those things. I had somebody stupid, King Thrash. I had him talk a whole bunch of stuff about me the other day, and it was factually wrong.
I mean,
like, I don't even get mad at the fact that if you're going to talk shit. If you're going to talk shit, do it, but have it be factually correct. But it's so funny because people will go into conclusions about a thing. I posted something about taking away trophies or sunsetting trophies and achievements, and he put this tweet up of me having played some stuff and it not showing the achievements that were in it, and I was like, just tell me that you don't get review code, like just say it out loud, just be like, yo, I don't do the work that you do, so that I can make the real reasonable conversation here to say this is not what you think it is because this isn't the way it works because you don't have access to that stuff because you're not good enough to get access to that stuff. Like, it's not hard to understand how things work if you let people explain it and if you give it to a space where people who have actual knowledge can talk about it. Go ahead.
That was not my favorite of your tweets. As
reasonable,
someone that's about to hit 200,000 gamer score.
Jay loves those achievements.
I honestly, it's one of the things that like keeps me playing a game, especially if I'm playing a PlayStation game, which I don't do often.
Yeah.
Like the idea of getting a platinum trophy is like that extra game for me, and but I obviously didn't like come at you. I just posted a CM Punk like GIF.
It's reasonable, and like people who are on the other side of that argument too, because I explained it in the most recent episode of Spawn on Me of why I think these should go away and what they should do to replace it and all that kind of stuff. But one, people don't listen to once you say a thing, no one's gonna go back and go listen to you explain it. But even if you disagree, that is totally fine. I have no beef with that.
Right.
But don't try to make some gotcha moment for you and your fan base to try to make me look like an idiot.
That's what it turns into.
Yeah, for sure. Like, even if you disagree, I feel like social media just in general has just kind of, especially now on Twitter, where there's like a literal financial incentive to just be as inflammatory and toxic as possible, as long as it generates engagement. Because like you can just disagree with somebody, or just say, you know what, I agree with that, whatever, without immediately going 0 to 100. Fuck, like it's always something. Like even and big creators aren't immune to that. Like there was recently a minor blow up on of course Twitter, but with Tom Henderson from Insider Gaming and the Hip Hop Gamer, another someone that Jay is very familiar with. He's an insider. A lot of people love him around the industry. He's very energetic, very positive,
He's a good guy.
very good guy from everything I heard. But there was a story about PS3 emulation, and Hip Hop Gamer, when he saw that Insider Gaming had covered it, he just said, "Hey, I had talked about this like 4 years ago. I would just appreciate some credit. We can all share in the credit, because he feels like he'll break a lot. He'll talk about a lot of stuff, and people will just ignore him, and then they'll report it as like it was a brand new thing."
Yep.
And Tom Henderson is, instead of responding like disagreeing or whatever, he just says, "Well, that information was faker than your gold chain." I'm like, bro, what?
I didn't see that.
Wow, I didn't see that. Tom spitting hot fire on the timeline. What?
Yeah. And I was like, he apologized within a few minutes, because you probably looked at a picture of Hip Hop Gamer. Like, hold on.
I don't think Tom wants to smoke, but it's like, again, like, I think that there's a layer there.
That knee jerk.
And we have it. Like, I have this conversation internally all the time. Should I pop off, or should I just let it rock? You know what I mean? And because I'm trying to do this in a really professional way, I don't pop off that much. I don't do it in ways that are Gamergate is a different conversation, because I think like you have to shout those people down because they're dangerous. Yeah. But I think inside the bubble that we are in terms of the gaming industry and gaming media and all that stuff, we are all peers. I'm never, even if Jay was like, "Yo, you an asshole, Kyle," I'm like, "Jay, that's reasonable," and whatever the thing is, like, I'm gonna see you at the next event and dap you up and give you a hug.
Yeah,
right.
And I say way worse things to Jay than that.
Right? Talking about that man's seasoning, talking about his chili being fake, like all that stuff. But again, like, if I see y'all in the streets and we don't have actual beef, it's all love.
Yeah.
So like all of this stuff is just weird fakeness, because it doesn't do anything. No, we are the NBA of the video game industry. Ain't nobody fighting. In the video game industry, shoulder checking is, and ain't anybody even shoulder checking nobody. Everybody's gonna look at each other and be like, "I'm not gonna talk to you."
Like, I think it's just literally just there's a lot of people who are just grew up like almost exclusively online. We're old, we're relatively older. Obviously you guys are older than me, but I still remember a time when we mainly went outside. Like I had video games, we had TVs. Obviously, our cartoons were way better, but
wow,
we mostly went outside. Yeah, 100%. I will go to war with classic Nickelodeon, classic Cartoon Network. I will go to war with anything happening right now.
Oh, you mean the older stuff compared to the new stuff?
I'm talking about the 90s. I'm talking about 90s.
90s stuff was better than the stuff we have now.
Yes,
100. I agree.
100%.
1,000%.
That's
I thought you were saying better than stuff that we grew up with.
Yeah.
No,
I was like,
that is the opposite. But I remember we went outside. We were internet wasn't what it was, so we were mainly, if you had a problem with somebody or just whatever, you're primarily interacting with them face to face. So people, especially guys, had a certain level of respect, even if they disagreed, even if they were mad, even if they didn't like someone, because they knew if you say the wrong thing, you have to see them at school tomorrow. Like you're not walking away. Like if you're gonna pop off, you better stand on business, because they're gonna ask you to run the fade.
So Doc, here's the wildest thing, and I'm happy you said that, because now that I'm thinking about all the stuff that I was just talking about 5 minutes ago, I'm like, look, if this is what it's become, where if your version of run the fade is, I'm gonna get on my Premiere Pro and make a video about you, then what are we doing? Like, what is happening here? Like, if you think about, if it's that deep, that you have to go through the process of rendering a file, you're a fucking idiot. You have to go through the process of making a thumbnail to talk shit about people render a file.
You have to consider SEO keywords.
You have to put a hard drive space and allocate it for your dumb shit that you're about to put on the internet to talk crap about somebody else. We're in the weirdest of times, yo.
Yeah.
Weird stuff. I know for a fact if Tom Henderson and Hip Hop Gamer were in the same room and Hip Hop Gamer said that exact same sentence, Tom would have been like, maybe, you have a point, maybe, let me hear more about what you had to say about I wasn't familiar with the work. He would not have said that. He would not have said that.
That's when you start using people's government names and shit because you're scared. Like, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, Kahlief, I'm sorry. I didn't. I was in the moment of I was hot. Hot under the collar.
People get behind the keyboard and forget because they know if I'm behind the keyboard, especially if I'm hiding behind an anime profile pic, there are no consequences to my actions.
The biggest shit talkers are the ones who don't put their face out on the thing. And the thing that bugs me out is like I've had those conversations with people often enough, especially during the last 6 months of all the craziness that's happened with Stellar Blade and all this stuff. And literally, the biggest shit talkers online are the people who are the most scared to show themselves.
Every time.
I've been on business for 12 years. I've never had a moniker. I've never had a fucking pen name. I never came out here looking like fucking Orc from He-Man, making videos and shit about other people, talking about go woke, go broke, all this other dumb shit. If you wanted to say something about me or I said some stuff about you, it is Kahlief Adams from the Spawnies podcast telling you ain't shit. I haven't had to do all this running around nonsense that people do because it's dumb and it's so silly. I grew up in an age where if you wanted to run the fade, you could run the fade.
Yep. And
it doesn't need to be
you'd be friends after. Like
you'd be friends.
Like one of my best friends in the old neighborhood lived right next to me. We got into an actual fist fight, and we were hanging out friends like an hour later.
We live in very strange times. I didn't have that realization until right now, being in rant mode about people's new version of shit talk is to go make a YouTube video about you.
Well, I mean, listen, I told you about Christmas Eve, dude on a horse writing a rap song about me and Sadat, or Sadat and I.
Wild, yo. Like,
yeah, I mean,
come on,
bro. Imagine abandoning your family on Christmas Day so you can write a diss record
on a horse,
or on a horse.
I need to see this video. By the way, you need to send this to me.
We'll probably have to find it.
It's unbelievably cringe.
It's
and
so
then
stupid.
And then he came into our chat one day, like talking all this shit. So we just dropped the link, like, hey, can we just settle this like gentlemen? Come on, talk to us. How have we caused you harm? And he's like, oh yeah, for sure. Like, give me like 20 minutes to clean my room. And then he
showed up.
No, he came back into chat and apologized for being an asshole. And now he's starting to crap up again, like behind the scenes.
Happen. I've had people who talk shit, and then you see him at an event, and they're like, "Oh my God, Kahlief, I love your content." I was like, you can suck my something or other.
To be fair, this person will never be invited to actually be a part of the industry.
Oh, 100%.
Like, they will never actually get to do anything.
That's part of the reason why they're so mad at us. But it's just the fact that even in a online scenario where we're just actually to come in real time onto the podcast and have a conversation, even then they're ducking smoke.
Yeah.
I want to do at one point when I'm in my most saltiest moment, I was trying to do a show for a minute that was called AKA, so it was called Ask Ka Anything. And I want people to just roll up, like I want to do old school 90s public access TV.
Ooh.
And do it on Twitch and be like, look, what is your beef? You have 5 minutes. Come on the show. Whatever you want to say to me about the industry, all the stuff, make sure you're not going to put yourself out there like Dr. Disrespect. But make sure, but like, if you got beef, you think I'm stupid, you think whatever, I'm a fraud, I'm a shill, all this kind of stuff, take your 5 minutes and go. No one will show up. I bet you money no one will do it.
I would actually
people are frauds.
Yeah. Yeah, they want to do it on their own backyard, you know what I mean?
Frauds, man. People are frauds. I'm like, y'all are frauds.
I know that you said that you had a certain amount of time for us, and I think we're up against that.
Yes.
So let's end on a happier note.
Yeah.
What is a game right now that you are just really looking forward to?
Ooh, I'm looking forward to.
The correct answer is Killer Bean.
Killer Bean is going to be ridiculously good. Killer Bean is going to be fire, and people are going to front on Killer Bean. Watch. A game that's coming out that I'm really excited for. Because there's a lot of stuff that's dropping very soon, actually.
First Descendant is a couple of days.
First Descendant is dropping in a couple of days. Frag Punk is going to be dropping soon, I think, and that's the thing I'm really excited for.
Marvel
I played that
Beta,
too. It looked really good.
The console beta from Marvels next month.
Yes. Predecessor's getting my girl back into there too, Terra, who's my favorite offlaner. I'm a big Predecessor MOBA fan. But there's like I said it early in the show, like we are eating good.
We got Black Myth Wukong. Can't forget that.
I can't play it. I can't play it because it has DI in it.
Oh,
I can't. I'm not allowed. I'm not allowed to play.
We're both Suicide Squatters from time to time, so
I might play a Black Samurai at some point down the line with a game that might happen, but I don't know. Can I?
He is in fact a samurai.
I think the ninja has a square chin. I can't play it. but like there's a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline that I'm really excited for. There's just too many games in the best way. Like I think if you're one of those weird people right now who are like, I don't have anything to play, I think you're not looking. You're not looking hard enough. You're not paying attention to the space. You're not really thinking about what is actually available to you. Because there's just a ton of really good games out there right now. I'm going back and playing stuff. I'm back in Elden Ring playing Erdtree, and I haven't even gotten back. I started into the DLC, and I was like, I don't have all the weapons I needed for the first run. I'm back in that first run, going through and getting old stuff that I didn't get in the first time I played it. So like, there's not enough time in a day.
Still have not touched Elden Ring.
I'm too much of a coward.
It's once you get past that initial curve. And you deflate your ego a little bit.
If I'm going to play Elden Ring, I'm 100% going to just use the most cheesy bullshit imaginable.
Oh, 1,000%. I'm like, oh, word, my sword will clip through this wall and still chop you up. Yep, that's what's going to happen today. I'm getting this dub. But then as soon as you go to a Grace, that bad boy come back. He comes back and says what's up. Shout out to Gabe.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking some time with us.
Of course.
Obviously, let everybody know where they can find you.
Yes, if you like Gabe, new listener of the show, you can check out the podcast on all podcast platforms. You can check us out if you want to see the video versions of our show. Spotify is the best place to go check it out. Those shows also will go up on YouTube. We've been pushing really hard to grow our YouTube channel. We were almost at, I think, like 5,800 subs. I'm trying to get to 6,000 before the end of the month. So we're trying to get there. We're also trying to grow our TikTok. So tiktok.com/spawnonme is another place where we're trying to do some content. So please, we're in our 10th year of doing our show. We are the premier podcast spotlighting people of color in the video game industry. We've been doing it at a high quality for a decade plus. And I think we have a lot of fun stuff coming down the pipeline. I'm working on another side project, another side show that I'm working on to get some more interviews in there that are less gaming and more about other stuff that I care about. And we might be doing our Spawn for Good charity event very soon because of the election. So getting people out there to help vote. And Spawnies every year in February. Again, we do a show that no one else can do. We are doing a show that is for the culture, by the culture. There is no vulture in our culture, in our show.
Right.
So it is going to be bigger and better this year. And we're going to need your help to get us over the hump. So thank you so much for having me, Jay. Thank you so much for having me, Sadat.
Thank you. I'm glad we could do this.
I love what y'all do. The energy that y'all have on this show is so fun. We need more folks like y'all putting out good energy in the world. because there are so many blood clot idiots out here. And we need more dope folks doing dope work out here. So I appreciate y'all for having me, and thank you so much for letting me rock.
Thank you. Have a great night, man.
Thanks, y'all. Peace, chat. Be good.
That was Kahlief Adams. Wow, that you know what? I'll this doesn't happen very often, but Jay did a good thing.
I regret not doing this sooner because we talked about it last year, and he's a great dude. I actually met him for the first time. There was like this industry insider thing called like gig or something like that. And it was like basically like a chat roulette where like all these people get in this one big room, and then they just break you out into like little rooms with like 4 or 5 other people.
Just with no dick.
Right. Yeah. It was just basically people from anywhere in the industry. And we got into a room together with like 3 or 4 other people and just got to chat for like 15, 20 minutes. And I always thought that was kind of a cool. I only did it once for some reason. I never got invited back. I don't know why.
Because everyone hated you, Jay. I'm sorry to break it to you.
Maybe, but I thought I was nice, and but yeah, it was cool. And then obviously we met last year in person at Summer Game Fest, and then saw him again this year. And we talked about it last year. Oh, we gotta do something together. And I explained to him like before the show, I was like, I'm the type of person where it's like I feel like everybody's busy, and I just hope they come to me. But this time, the other day, I was like, you know what? No, we just talked. Okay. And he's talking a lot about Dr. Disrespect right now. I know we're probably going to talk about that on Friday. Let me just see if he's free anytime soon. And it all worked out. So, and I'm sure we'll have him on again. And he's awesome. Like, he's a great dude. And that was a great talk. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, fantastic. So, Jay occasionally does it good. He gets a W.
That is my goal coming back from LA, is to be more proactive and like not take for granted that someone else is probably waiting for me to like approach them. You know what I mean?
100%.
Like everybody is busy, and the worst thing that can happen is they say, I'm a little too busy right now. And that's fine.
Exactly.
But
I just actually sent off an email earlier today requesting a special guest.
Nice.
Very, very famous person.
Ooh.
So I shot my shot.
All right. Well, fingers crossed.
Fingers very crossed.
And definitely check out Spawn on Me. Thank you. He's right here. Definitely make sure you check him out. Give him a follow. Give him a subscribe. He's on Twitch too. Really appreciate it. Awesome dude.
Great guy. Had a lot of fun. Great talk. Now, and always nice to meet a fellow nerd in the space. It was nice. We usually talk about the games and the superhero stuff, so it was nice. It was nice getting a little bit into the culture and just having a conversation with someone in the industry. But there is some nerd shit going on. Superman, the James Gunn Superman, just started getting more and more footage. James Gunn released more set photos, but we got some video this time of the Superman Legacy releasing, of course, next year.
Oh my God, I have to interrupt you. I know you don't care about
you get
wrestling.
News again? Oh,
I don't know.
You don't care.
I know you don't care. No, you're gonna like this. All right, Logan Paul is fighting against what's his face, LA Knight, and Logan Paul brought Tyrese Halliburton in the ring with him.
Oh my God!
And Jalen Brunson just came out of the crowd with a steel chair, and they are squaring off right now.
What the fuck?
Jalen Brunson and Tyrese Halliburton in a WWE ring squaring off against each other.
Jesus.
I'm gonna retweet that.
All right, that was worth the interruption.
All right, I thought it would be.
Oh, all right. That one you're in that one. But we do have our first ever look at the Superman Legacy. This is coming exclusively from the direct. They got some, and the photos have been circulating as well. Minor spoilers, but yeah, looks like the Superman Legacy will have a little something in common with Man of Steel, in that Superman will pretend to allow people to arrest him. I feel like that's becoming it's going to become a live action tradition of Superman allowing himself to be put in handcuffs. Now there was a lot of conversation, a lot of debate, mainly among the Zack Snyder enthusiasts, about the quality of the suit, Jay. So where are you on the suit?
I like it. I actually kind of like it better that it's not smooth. Like, I feel like that's what a Kryptonian suit would look like. You know, I like that the logo is on the back as well, on the back on the cape. So I think what is it? Corn Sweat, David Corn Sweat.
David Corn Sweat. Yeah.
Yeah, he looks great as Superman and as Clark Kent.
100. Obviously, the casting is always important, and we assumed they were going to nail that. Hey, just get a guy that looks like Superman, and he definitely looks like Superman. I mean, looks like a younger Henry Cavill, who in turn looked like Superman when he was younger. Yeah, I like the design because it, and obviously people are judging it before seeing it actually on film, rendered. But what I appreciate about the design is that it actually looks like Superman. Like if you read the comics, if you grew up on Superman, like that's not a Superman for a modern audience. That's just, it's Superman. This is classic Superman. You can see James Gunn is definitely wearing his love of the comics on his sleeve, because he wanted, especially for like an origin story, like this is exactly how Superman's first suit should look like.
Mr. Terrific looks great too.
Fantastic. Like absolutely nailed it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm glad that this is it very clearly is not going to be your traditional like origin story starting point, we are obviously going to be getting Superman at a certain point in his career by seeing, that we've got Mr. Terrific already with him, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But Man of Steel was like that in that regard. We'll just see how they balance that out, because they gave us a little bit flashbacks. It took place in different eras. You had the obligatory Krypton destruction scene. Then you had some stuff with him on the farm growing up, and then it led to present day, where he's eventually gets to his journey where he's in the city being a reporter and is forced to step out and be Superman. So I imagine James Gunn will have a little bit of that, but it's definitely going to be once again set in the present day where Clark is working in Metropolis and is doing his Superman thing. My hope is that Mr. Terrific is also not the CW to Mr. Terrific. I want a more comic accurate Mr. Terrific, because obviously James Gunn's known for his quirkiness and the comedy stuff, and that can work. I personally don't like what he did with Drax, but I'm hoping, based on how Mr. Terrific looks, he's a little more serious, a little more competent. Like the CW Mr. Terrific in the Arrowverse was a bit too goofy and weak for my taste. That's really not what the character is supposed to be. So I'm hoping that they give him some better representation here in Superman Legacy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to the movie. I'm not like a big Superman fan, but I just want all the movies to be good again, like I want good DC movies. I got to see Justice League. I've told this story before, like a pre-release of the Justice League. It was like basically like a fan screening, like a super fan screening.
Right.
And it was in Boston, the packed theater. And like I swear to God, it was one of the best movie experiences of my life, even for a totally mid movie. Like, people were like out of their seats cheering, and like it was crazy.
Yeah.
And like if you get to see a movie like that and enjoy it in that atmosphere, it's great. That's what I'm hoping Deadpool's like in a few weeks.
Yeah, Matt. Yeah, it's even better when the movie's actually good.
Right. So like, yeah, you know, Mr. Terrific is he's long time.
He's Eastwood. He's old. He's not a comic book nerd.
Yeah, fair.
But yeah, he's fortunately a black superhero that was not given the mantle of a white superhero. He's an original superhero. He's basically super tech genius, but he also is good in the fight. You know, good hand in hand. He's really good with it. Uses his technology in combat. He's a really fun character that's got a little more recognition after he was added to the CW as part of the Arrowverse, though definitely made him very goofy and not exactly like how he's portrayed in the comics. So I'm glad that James Gunn is throwing him in there, because I love seeing more black characters get some shine that aren't this is just a white version of this character.
Yeah. Well, I feel the same way, obviously. Like, I like original characters. I don't feel like, everybody should just be a hand-me-down, and
because there's so many characters they can choose from. I was just watching this video, just breaking down how DC has like failed their black characters. Talk about how we haven't gotten really anything new for like a Static Shock, or there's so many characters they can choose from, like an Icon, and they just consistently just like, no, we're just not going to do that. And it's like why? It's like what are we doing here? Like, if like you don't, and it feels like they kind of set us up for failure, because there's certain people who just don't want to see anyone black on the screen to begin with, but then you give them fuel by saying, oh, we're just gonna take a white character and just make them black, and then talk down to you and tell you that you're racist if you don't like the change. And it's just like, now they're going to come at us even harder and instantly reject, and people are going to instantly or just assume, like, they see a black character, here we go, this is going to be like, and it's so annoying.
Yeah, I feel that. You know what else I feel? A lot of pain. Did I tell you about how Evie almost killed me today?
No.
Yeah. So took her outside. Let me tell you about this girl. She can run. All right.
She looks like it.
She loves running. Does not have a lot of coordination. All right. Absolutely kneecapped me outside from behind. Just ran into me. Did not see it coming. Before I knew it, I was on my back looking at the sky. And man, I don't think I like broke anything, but like something happened to my tailbone. Like, my butt hurts so much. Like, it's so it's so uncomfortable. And I definitely pulled like my calf muscle or something. But yeah, the little 38-pound Evie just absolutely took me out. Just laying on the ground, looking at the sky. Before I know it, Thor is standing over me, licking me, because he knew I was making some noises. And
were you wearing that Celtics hat? Because that would explain it.
I was not. I was actually wearing my Red Sox hat. But yeah, like, she's like sniffing at me, like, oh God, what happened? But Thor, to his credit, Thor like pulled right up next to me. He was like he was concerned. My wife was inside. Thor ended up going over towards the deck and just sat down and stared at the door, which I'm assuming was his like, hey, look at me, come out here. It was definitely one of those low chops. Exactly, Black King. So that was an experience.
I mean, sounds like a skill issue.
Yeah, it really was. Like, she's doing pretty good though. I feel like I feel like I haven't gotten a lot accomplished this week because, we're trying to like integrate her and also this case. I can't believe that they still don't have a verdict yet. It went to the jury on Monday. They tried to come back, hung jury today. I think there's like one person that's just like, nah, like
some person on the payroll,
something like that. Like
it has to be.
I mean, I've seen what the breakdown is. There's a guy that's a former cop the next town over, and I worry that he's the one that's just sitting there like, no, there's no way these police got it wrong.
That's too obvious. Oh my god, this is gonna be the most insane documentary.
It really is. But the thing is that they went to, after they sent that note in, the prosecution was like, no, send them back and tell them to get a verdict. And the defense was like, we're fine with it. Read them some kind of thing, some kind of like statute or whatever that basically says you have one more chance to go back and try to figure this out. And I think that they're fine if it actually ends in a hung jury. I think they would prefer, obviously, a not guilty, but I don't think they can retry this case because, like, some of the people that testified are not going to be able to testify again. Like, some of them are going to lose their jobs, like some of the cops. There's another case that's semi-related that just got kind of reopened by the Attorney General, and a lot of the same players in that case are involved in this one. So yeah, it's wild. Like, can you have like, all right, can you picture like 2,000 white people outside of a courthouse, like celebrate, like on the side of someone accused of killing a cop?
That's the more unique scenario.
Right, exactly. And I guarantee you, to a person, almost all of these people own.
I mean, if they, I can definitely see that, but they would be wearing black face masks and communist fists on their shirt.
No. All these people, I guarantee you, in their wardrobe somewhere have like a thin blue line T-shirt. Guaranteed.
Yeah, that's the more unique part about it.
Yeah, it's the whole thing is wild. It's like Dane Cook tweeted about it today. Like, I mean, it's pretty crazy. Like the amount of people that are talking about it.
I actually saw Bill Simmons. I was watching his podcast, and he was talking about it. I was like, because like Bill Simmons is from here, and one of the Todd McShay, who's like a big ESPN draft guy, he was talking about it. But like a lot of the local celebs have been talking about it. Like a couple NFL players. Like there's no way she did it. Like there's just no way. 100%. Like this is the most clear case of police corruption I've ever seen. Seen. Like and there's been some wild stuff, but this is insane. Like I can't believe. I think this is I think this is one where it's going to bring a lot of people together, and and how much what I hope happens is it'll just kind of highlight how we've been kind of like kicking the can down the road too much. Like because when black people are victimized by police, it's usually like a whole thing was like, oh well, was it really her or did you and it always gets drowned out. But seeing stuff like this, especially when that Netflix documentary hits and people get to kind of see, oh, we've been like having this huge blind spot when it comes to law enforcement, because we assume, oh, they're all just the good guys, there's everyone's just hating on the cops, if you just behave, if you just do what you're told, there won't be any problems. But no, there are extraordinarily corrupt police, the entire departments out there just flying under the radar, and this case just shows it's like this small town just seemingly came out of nowhere. Like if it wasn't for the internet making this go viral, and just citizen journalists getting on the ground and making a noise, there's just to be a woman, a cop killer, just what are you going to do, Blue Lives Matter and all that other stuff. But it wouldn't have gone anywhere. But now we're like, it's shedding this huge spotlight on the policing problem that has been a thing throughout American history. Like there's an issue where you can talk about the training, you can talk about all that, but the reality is there is not a system in place that sufficiently weeds out bad cops. Everything is set up to incentivize not only for them to stick together, but to continue to do bad things because the odds of them being held accountable are so low.
Yeah, I'll tell you one of the wild things that happened during the closing arguments by the prosecution. They were talking about the lead investigator who had to he was gonna get fired. There's no doubt about it. Right. He had to eat some serious crow and read some of his texts that were intercepted by the FBI. And that's how they got them, was from the FBI. Like on his personal phone to his buddies, like some of the just awful things he said about her. And in the closing arguments, the prosecution's like, obviously you've heard some terrible, text messages from, whatever the officer's name was. And, it's really unfortunate, but, this was just blowing off steam in what he thought was a safe place, like a safe space for him. And no one would ever see it on his personal cell phone. And it's like, no, that makes it worse, motherfucker. Like you're telling me that this is what he feels. If that's his safe space and he's saying that to his buddies, that's what he means. He's not blowing off steam. He means that.
Yes.
He said in the first day, I hope she just kills herself. Unalives herself.
Unalive. In a video game.
Yeah. Like, it's wild. It's wild.
Absolutely ridiculous. I cannot wait for that.
And I just can't wait for it to be over so I can move on with my life.
Yeah. Did it prevent you from watching this week's episode of The Boys?
I did not watch The Boys. I did watch Acolyte.
How do you watch Acolyte and not The Boys?
Because it came first.
At least we could talk about what
I was going to watch The Boys today, and then Evie almost killed me.
Yeah, that sounds like an excuse, but
a little bit.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine, but yeah, the Acolyte, definitely a much better episode. Obviously, the reveal that we all saw coming was revealed.
Yeah, I think that episode, obviously aesthetically, it's like The Last Jedi for me. Like, it looks good. All right, it looks the part. Yeah. Obviously, the lightsaber fight. Much better.
Obviously, the bar is in hell because the light. I thought the lightsaber combat in Ahsoka was fucking horrendous.
Yeah,
and consistently, it just hasn't been all that great for the most part. But yeah, the at least in that regard, yeah, I thought they nailed in that the actors looked convincing. Obviously, the choreography I thought had a lot of problems, but at least it looked good.
I just hate the whole MacGuffin of that helmet and bracer that just murders freaking lightsabers. Like, it's just no.
It was Cortosis. Yeah, they mostly threw out everything in the EU and just said, "Oh no, it's Disney canon. We can't do the EU." But yeah, they whipped that one out. I was like, "No, we're gonna bring this one in. This rare metal that just neutralizes lightsabers." Yeah,
it's somebody trying to fight me on it on Twitter, and I'm like, I don't care if it exists. Okay, it's stupid, and it's poor writing to use it in this case. Like, it's just it's a MacGuffin, it's just that thing. It's a plot device that it's just they could have done without it. I hated it.
Yeah, because my issue, there are a couple issues I had. Like, first of all, if you're gonna when you have fights like this in a series, and this is something that anime does very well, you have to very clearly establish the power scaling, because otherwise it quickly becomes ridiculous, especially when you establish in the previous episode that this guy is just hilariously stronger than everybody. Like, now, setting aside the fact that someone that powerful in the Force should not have been able to hide, like Yoda should have just been on his head. That setting that aside, you established in the previous episode, okay, he can fly and force push, and basically an entire squad of Jedi Knights and Masters, and they can't do shit about it. So okay, he's automatically like pretty much stronger than everyone we've seen in live action Star Wars. And then in the next episode, he's getting pushed back by a random Padawan. Like that's why you have to establish these things early. Like instead, they spent the first episodes mostly on filler, and now you have a situation where it's like, okay, so who's the strong one here? So we know Saul is a master, but the masters have been getting picked off. Like the Wookiee was a Jedi master, easily got dealt with. All right, Saul is presumably on par with all of them. You know, the Padawan that has a crush on Osha didn't really show anything significant. All of a sudden, while 8 Jedi Knights fighting at the same time, get their cheeks caved in by this guy. Soul can beat his ass 1-on-1 in a hand to hand. Like what are we doing? And
then the whole sister dynamic.
That whole like she flips like literally at this point like in the last episode, she's like, you know what? All that stuff I said about getting revenge and making the Jedi pay, and you know, seeing this through to the end. I'm not going to do all that. Fuck all that. I'm just going to turn myself into the Jedi and snitch on the master. It'll be fine. Peace. And now in this episode, she has a chance, and she's like, no, I'm going to try to kill this Padawan. And now I'm going to go undercover to try to make the Jedi pay and kill. Like, what are you doing? What is her motivation at this point? It doesn't make any sense. Like, you know, obviously you can pick apart the choreography because what they did was the reason why they had everything in the trees is so that we couldn't see the parts of the choreography where the Jedi are just standing around not killing him, which is what would happen if you fought a bunch of people holding bladed weapons at the same time. Like there's a way to handle a fight where you're fighting multiple opponents at the same time, but what lazy choreographers do is they'll just have the other fighters just standing around waiting for their turn to jump in, and it just looks dumb. But they use the trees to kind of help obscure it. But yeah, it's just the overall writing. Like his motivation makes no sense. It's like why are you doing this? Oh, I wanted to be hidden. I wanted to be left alone. Like no one knew who you were. No one knows you're alive. Everyone thought the Sith are gone. Like you could have just done whatever you want in private. The only reason they know who you are is because you sent your acolyte to specifically assassinate 4 Jedi. You even showed up in person for no reason. Like you did everything you could to expose yourself. Why is that your motivation to not be like, that doesn't make any sense?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I thought that like everybody was like so excited about the episode, and obviously I think it did a good job in the grand scheme of things, but like I just didn't like the writing. It just like it's so like all over the place, and it kind of ruined. Like I hated the MacGuffin. Like I just hated the helmet. The helmet even looks stupid. Like I'm sorry, I don't. I just
don't like the Smiler Ren helmet.
No, I mean it just looks dumb, and maybe I'm being a hater, but I'm not doing it for the reason that the grifters are doing it. Yeah, I feel like I'm being legitimate, like about my criticism.
Yeah, I didn't have any strong feelings one way or another about the helmet, but I definitely agree the writing is just absolute dog shit.
I think that's a good looking Lex Luthor.
He looks perfect as Lex.
Yeah, I really think they nailed the casting on this.
The casting is fantastic. Rachel Brosnahan from Marvelous Miss Maisel, absolutely a S tier casting as Lois Lane.
Yeah.
But I can, I'm not a super Star Wars nerd. I do like the series. I like the originals. For the most part, I like the prequels. I like the animated stuff. But yeah, even then, I'm just recognizing like I'm not going to get super, tight about the lore, but I'm not just going to overlook obvious contradictions, like because at this point they have a lot to explain now to make the prequels make sense. Because like first they were like, okay, well, it doesn't matter if this character is alive, before they're supposed to. It's not a big deal. It doesn't mean anything. There's no Sith in this episode, so it's fine. All right, well, now, not only did you have a Sith Lord appeared, he just murdered a bunch of Jedi. So now you got a lot of explaining to do.
Yeah, to be fair though, like I think that's one of the things that makes sense in a way, is that like so few people are going to know about his existence because they're all dead. And
at this point, literally the only way that they could follow us through is to have Soul die. Like there's just no other way.
And I think that's probably what's going to happen.
Soul and Osha.
Yeah, I feel like the bad sister is going to die, and the Osha's the good one, right?
Yeah, Osha's the good one.
I feel like she's going to live and just go off and be like Cal Kestis, like just like get away, but who knows?
That's pretty much how it has to end. Otherwise, this makes no sense.
Yeah, and then somebody was asking if we're going to see Darth Plagueis. I think it's too early for Darth Plagueis. I think whoever Darth Plagueis' master is might be either who this guy is, or like that person might be the one.
Yeah,
because like we're in the rule of two era, where there's only going to be a master and apprentice, But if you think about it, like they knew about the Sith in the Phantom Menace, so like they understood that it was a possibility
for sure,
but that they just hadn't shown themselves in quite some time. The Ki-Adi-Mundi situation. I mean, look, it's not the first time something's been retconned. I didn't honestly think that it was Ki-Adi-Mundi at first. I just thought it was another person of the same race.
I think it's the multiple retcons on top. It's like okay, you got Ki-Adi-Mundi birth wrong, or your retcon it really. I think they just got it wrong. But you pick Ki-Adi-Mundi here. Okay, fine. But also you're going to have a Sith. But also you're going to have a chosen one. So like Anakin's birth isn't even unique. Like you have all this stuff on top of that, and it's just like, and because the show is so bad already, like no one has faith that the writers like have a plan.
Yeah, and that's also why like she wants to do like the Old Republic, and I'm like, no, no, thank you. I've seen enough. I mean, and it's a shame though, because I feel like aesthetically, like the show looks good, and that's like the problem I have with The Last Jedi. I feel like The Last Jedi looks good.
Yeah,
I just think it's terrible writing.
It has some visually really great stuff.
Yeah,
but the problem, and I think the problem is that you hit on, and is that they're both not only it's poorly written, they're written by people who don't like Star Wars all that much.
Yeah, and I think that I feel like we just keep saying this over and over again. Like you have to stop picking people that don't understand the content. I just feel like, yeah, you can research it after the fact, but like I feel like there has to be some level of fandom already in existence.
100%. Like there has to be a deeper connection, because you're going to get better quality work. Like one of the reasons I'm looking forward to Warhammer 40K is that Henry Cavill is a Warhammer 40K nerd. Like he genuinely loves the lore. He loves everything about it. So as long as he has as long as the right people have creative control, it's the passion is going to come through, because you can very much tell when someone makes something and they respect it. Like one of the reasons those Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, particularly 1 and 2, are so timeless is because like they're like quintessential comic book movies. Like you can feel the passion for the source material. Like you can tell that the writer, director, everyone involved wanted to tell a good Spider-Man story, because before, the problem with comic book movies before is that Hollywood thought comic book movies were nerds. They were just for dorks. They didn't take it seriously. They just thought, oh, comic books are campy, they're stupid, whatever, who cares? Let's just cash in on these nerds. And that's why they failed, because people were like, oh, well, we care because we know this stuff is good, and we can see you're just staying a mile away. Like we're not going to do it. So when the comic book movies exploded, it's because they started being treated with the respect that they deserve. And that's, it comes through, go through X-Men 97, like very clearly Bo DeMaio, massive X-Men nerd, massive comic book nerd. You can see it very clearly, not in just the fact that it's quality, but in the references, the deep cuts, everything about it was clearly written by somebody who has a deep passion for the source material and deep respect for the characters. And when it's not there, it comes through, and it doesn't. Fans will overlook something that's a little cheesy, or if it's clearly written by someone who cares. Like the prequels now have definitely gotten a better reputation than they had initially, because like they were by no means perfect movies. I thought Attack of the Clones in particular was kind of ass, apart from certain parts, but George Lucas is obviously very passionate about his work, and it shined through. So even though it wasn't the best from a cinematic perspective, people still love them, and people still can come back to them because they're fans, and they can respect something that was written by someone who has a very deep passion for what they're doing. So when you have something that's poorly written and is clearly coming from someone who doesn't care all that much about the series, it just amplifies it even more.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with everything you said. Couldn't have said it better.
Yeah, like I hope, like I'm gonna give it. I don't know why I still do this at this point with Star Wars. Like, I feel like Star Wars is fucked, but I still come back to it. Like, I feel like Marvel, they're definitely making attempts to like right the ship, but I feel like Star Wars is just kind of a lost cause at this point, because I saw the Acolyte, I just knew it was gonna be bad, but at least I was like, okay, well, at least some of the action looks good. Like, I was like, okay, well, at least I thought, okay, well, at least I get to see Trinity, do Trinity things. And then they just killed her in the dumbest way possible in the first episode. I'm like, what is this shit, bro?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm tired of being like, feeling like, I feel like we both give pretty like thought out, valid criticism that isn't just like, oh, woke, woke. Like, yeah, like let the Wookiee talk, like I feel like, but I feel like I get like because you're being critical, you get dropped into that same group anyway, and I think that was one of the things that was like really annoying for me when I like somebody like, oh, I literally said this was one of the better visual performances for the show, for recent Star Wars, but I still think the writing is dumb. People like, how can you say that with one of the best lightsaber fights? I'm like, did you not read that I just said the visuals were great?
Nope, they did not.
what did you not think that's what I meant? Like, and the lightsaber fight was fine, but I hate that they had to use like the stupid cortosis or whatever the fuck it is. Like, I'm sorry, you can't bring that out of nowhere and just like that's the solution, and I hated it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was not a fan. I thought it would have been better if he used his obviously superior powers of the Force,
right,
to account for the fact that he was outnumbered.
Yeah,
because you established that in the beginning. He can literally just flick his hand and send all of them flying. Like he doesn't need that nonsense gimmick to take them out.
And like that's a thing. Like, you know, one of my favorite Star Wars characters is Darth Bane, and Darth Bane has like armor that does something to that effect. But like, I always felt like that was something that made Darth Bane like very unique, you know. And I guess you can do it, but like, I don't know. I just felt like it was really cheesy.
Man, it's so good. Like I feel like, and this is why like I had issues I had with Star Wars. Like I love the idea of lightsaber. I feel like lightsaber combat generally is just done way better in the animated stuff. But you know, Revenge of the Sith, I thought they did, you know, particularly did a great job of that. And the games obviously do an amazing job. And I just wanted some of that to come through in live action. And I just feel like they consistently just, especially after Disney acquired it, they just didn't really go for it. Like the best thing before this, I thought the best thing they did, you know, I like, you know, I thought the Luke thing in the Mandalorian was fine, but the Darth Vader scene in Rogue One, I thought was like, this is what I envision. You know, that like the games do an amazing job of capturing Star Wars, you know, the action side of Star Wars. And I felt like that scene in the movie is like the first time in decades, and even better, I think, than the originals, where they really captured what makes Darth Vader so terrifying. And you know, I thought Fallen Order did an amazing job of that, but I thought Rogue One did such a good job in that scene of showing, oh, this is why everyone's afraid of Darth Vader. He's just unfuckwittable.
Like, yeah, that scene in Rogue One is one of the best scenes in Star Wars, period.
100%. Like no matter the era, everything, no matter the medium, it's a masterpiece.
It made Episode 4 that much cooler. Because like it leads right into Episode 4, and now you get to watch Episode 4 and say, "Oh, I know what those they went through," you know? Yeah, it's crazy.
That's how you do it, and that's why when I saw people like glazing Ahsoka, I'm like, come on, you know what they're capable of. Like it was very clear, you know, that they didn't really put that much time. Like I love Rosario Dawson, but it's very clear that she physically either couldn't or just wasn't given enough time to like train properly, because having her go toe to toe with Hayden Christensen, who very clearly is passionate about learning lightsaber combat. He's been doing it for years. Like the stark contrast between them was just glaring. Like it was just too distracting, because it was it's like clearly she's extremely slow. She's not comfortable with it, and he's like intentionally slowing down to accommodate, and it just looked bad. And then you contrast that with the Acolyte, where you know they're flipping around, they're twirling, they're doing all this crazy. It looks really cool. Obviously, it had its problems, but at least you can tell, okay, people trained, like there was some work done here, you know. Whereas I feel like with other stuff, it just felt lazy.
I am interested to see where they go from here. I don't love killing off two of the main Jedi. Oops, we lost Sadat. He'll be back. I don't love killing off the two main ones. You all know who I'm talking about. I don't know. I didn't even have time to really learn their names. It obviously created some shock value, but I don't know. I felt like they were building something with those two, and now they're just dead. You know what I mean? And I just don't love that. So, but yeah, we'll fill up some space. Here he comes. There he is.
Yeah, I agree. Like I mean, I think the characters just feel so disposable. So I don't even care. I don't even care if they die at this point.
Right. They've established that like, all right, I don't have a reason to care about any of these people, because shock value is better than, you know, like actual like build up.
Yeah,
you
like
know?
obviously I don't care about May. She's literally evil. We don't know much about. We spent a little bit of time with OSHA, but I don't. What's her I don't care. I don't care. She was just wasting away as a mechanic. She's shitty. She's a shitty Jedi. I don't. What is it? You know, we didn't get to spend much time with the Masters. You know, because they one of them died. Trinity died in the dumbest way possible. The other guy killed him, unalived himself, and then the Wookiee Jedi, which sounded like an incredibly cool concept, gets killed off screen. So it's like, so all we got left is Soul, and I'm just like, okay, and I only care about him because of Squid Game.
Yeah, there have been other Wookiee Jedi, but like they're so few and far between, and he dies off screen.
And they build it up like, here we go. Oh, we're on the planet. Here's the Wookiee Jedi, and he's dead.
Yeah. Yeah, not like their best work, I don't think. But I don't know, man. I didn't have like any expectations for this show, and it has lived up to them.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's about as bad as I expected it to be when I saw the trailers, I saw the trailer, I read the interviews with different people and looked at the interviews with different people. I was like, oh, this is going to be a shit show. I was like, okay, well, hopefully we get a couple of cool scenes out of it. But I don't know. Now, The Boys, on the other hand, has been really good. Like, it makes it even funnier seeing the grifters mauling over being made fun of in season 4, because season 4 is not only just so good, especially the last couple episodes, but as you'll see in season 5, in episode 5, they have this whole section where they just absolutely shit all over Disney and the MCU.
oh boy.
And it's fucking hysterical.
Yeah, as soon as we were starting the show, I was like, damn it, I didn't watch The Boys. I watched the first episode of House of Dragons. Haven't watched the second, so I gotta catch up on those two.
I haven't watched any of the new House of Dragons. I for whatever reason, I was enjoying it for the most part. I didn't watch the last episode of season 1, and I was like, I guess I'll catch up. And then season 2 hit, and I'm like, I watched the new season of My Adventures with Superman instead, and been enjoying that. And I've been trying to get through Dune Part 2. It's so hard to get through. Like, it's so fucking boring.
Yeah, I didn't watch either.
I like the first one.
Gabe, I'm one episode behind. I'll get there.
At least we could talk about episode 4.
Yeah.
which in light of the doctor disrespect situation, made it even funnier. That he basically just went through the entire like he could have learned from that episode, because he basically did the same thing.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
I still, man, it was certainly an interesting episode for Homelander.
I thought they generally have done a great job with Homelander, but I just love the idea of him like trying to go back to, the source of his trauma and confront it head on in the most Homelander way possible.
Yeah, it was quite gory.
I mean, he did literally shoot someone's dick off.
Yeah, very. It was very interesting though, like how they molded him though, like and his realization of that,
Yeah, like the lady mentioned, like he could have left at any time.
Right.
They didn't have the power. At a certain point, they didn't have the power to stop him. But that just shows the power of psychological warfare, and how susceptible children can be to the people around them, even one who's literally like a god among men. Right. And yeah, it definitely got to why Homelander is the way he is, because holy shit, that's so fucked up what they did to him.
Yeah, it's I don't know how I feel about some of the other stuff. Obviously the what's her name? The smart one.
Sister Sage.
Yeah. The lobotomy thing is just much. Bit much for me.
It's a little weird, but yeah, I'm not keen on that subplot, but it's like, yeah, whatever, it's her quirk. Everyone's got to have a quirk.
Yeah.
In the boys, that's hers.
So I don't know, man. It's been interesting. I really did mean to watch that episode.
It's a much better episode. It's so. And I thought 4 was really good, but oh my god, like I literally had to pause because I was laughing so hard.
Oh god! All right, well, once my butt recovers, I'll make sure I watch it.
Yeah, I haven't read the boys comic. I've seen a little bit of it, so I know that it's definitely, if you can believe it, more insane than the show.
Yeah.
In some ways, particularly when it comes to Homelander's sexual activities.
Oh.
Yeah.
My Boston Bruins are currently on the clock for the NHL draft. Very historic NHL draft so far, by the way. 2 of the top 6 picks, brothers.
No one cares.
I thought you would appreciate that.
Why?
Because it's hockey, and
I don't. I literally don't care about hockey. It's not a real sport.
We need to get you to a Flyers game. Someone needs to meet Gritty.
I don't care about hockey at all. I played NHL '98 back in the day. It was a good game.
Yeah,
but mainly
awesome.
I love starting fights in it. That's the reason. I'll run around. I play around with the Mighty Ducks. Because Mighty Ducks, Anaheim Ducks. But I would mainly just be checking the shit out of people and just ready to throw hands. It was just so much fun. But yeah, the actual sport, I don't care. I did not pay attention to a second of the NHL draft. I did watch the NBA draft though.
I of course did as well. I think it's funny that LeBron came out today and it was like, oh, all these teams are gonna regret passing on Bronny because you had your agent tell everybody not to take him or he's going to Australia.
See, this is why I hate LeBron.
Right.
One of the reasons he's such a fucking phony, bro. Like he's so because the way it's just I understand certain people when it comes to being public figures, famous people, lying is understandable. It's part of the business, but it's just the way he lies, in the dumbest ways. There was no reason for him to tell that lie. We know what it was. We knew all along that you were going to strong arm the Lakers into drafting your son. That was a foregone conclusion, regardless of whether the only question was whether or not Bronny would physically be able to play basketball. Once that was clear, we were like, well, he's going to be drafted by the Lakers. He's going to play with LeBron. That's a foregone conclusion. The fact that he would just come in and try to build this fake narrative, he's a real underdog. It's a real underdog story. He's going to show you've forced teams to not take him. Everyone knew what it was. You made it clear that all that stuff you're talking about, it doesn't matter what team he plays for. I'll sign. I just want to play. We knew that was bullshit. We knew that if the Jazz drafted Bronny, if the Hawks drafted Bronny number 1 overall, you weren't going to fucking sign with the Hawks for the minimum. We knew you were lying. And we knew it was. You're just going to wait. You're just going to wait and be like, hey, Lakers, you got a couple picks. You're going to use one of them on Bronny, regardless. Fine. We know the nepotism's there. Bronny was able to kind of, show what he could do at the combine. He turned some heads. People were like, oh, okay. The physicals aren't where we thought. He's obviously hilariously 6'2", not 6'4", but he's a tremendous athlete. You know, he's obviously got a very strong frame. He's got an insane vertical leap. You know, he's from like he obviously played terribly at USC, but they didn't necessarily utilize him properly. And I could see just from workouts, obviously, he's got really good shooting mechanics, so that should translate. You know, if he's active defensively, he's got the tools to do that. He can be, at very least, a Derek White type of player. Like, and he said all the right things. Like, we don't need LeBron to add all this extra nonsense. Like, we know he's only on the team because of nepotism. Like, we understand what it is.
Yeah,
like,
I don't think he would have been drafted otherwise.
100%. Like, if LeBron wasn't in the picture, he would have gone back to school and would have played a healthy season. Maybe he even transferred to a better program, and he would have tried to raise his stock and get better. But because he's LeBron's kid, he knew he had a spot in the NBA. Like it was what it was. Like there's just no need to do all this extra shit, bro. Fucking hate LeBron, bro.
I kind of like the 2 picks the Celtics made. I mean, they basically drafted another Sam Hauser, it sounds, in the first round. And then the second round, the guy's being described, Anton Watson, is being described as like an older Al Horford.
Older Al Horford.
Like how Al Horford is at his older age, you know? So not peak Al Horford, but like, you know.
Basically a stretch big that can guard, multiple positions.
Yeah, basically. So, I mean, look, that's what they do. Obviously, the Villanova Knicks are going to be a thing that we're going to have to worry about. Yeah, I
love the Heat. I love the Heat's pick, Claire Ware, dropping to the Heat. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's been a very interesting, some interesting trades going down too. Had one today with the Pelicans and the Hawks.
I didn't see that one. I think last trade. I think I haven't seen any new trade. I just saw some transactions.
There's DeJuan Murray. I think
DeJounte Murray.
Yeah, DeJounte Murray going to the Pelicans.
Oh, that's actually a huge trade. What the fuck?
Yeah, for Larry Nance Jr., Dyson Dawson, and 2 first-round picks.
What the? Hold up. They actually traded Murray?
Yeah.
Oh,
to the Pelicans.
That's a huge trade for the Pelicans. Like that's literally what they needed. That's because CJ McCollum, I like CJ McCollum. He's clearly not the point guard that they need. He's a really good scorer still, but he's getting older. He's a kind of defensive liability, and having a backcourt of Murray, he's younger, he's a good scorer, run the floor, but it's a really good defender. Him and Herb Jones together in the backcourt, that's pretty crazy. Dyson Daniels, 2025. Wow.
Yeah, they also had Tim Hardaway Jr. to the Pistons for Quentin Grimes and 3 second-round picks.
Mm.
Not as big of a deal, but
so the Mavericks basically got a younger Tim Hardaway Jr.
Yeah,
that's basically what that was,
and cleared out some money.
And that's the biggest thing. He was on an expensive deal. He wasn't even playing. Larry Nance Jr., Dyson Daniels, 2025 first for the Lakers, 27 first. So two firsts. Larry Nance, who's a decent rotation big. Dyson Daniels, really good young guard. That's actually a pretty good trade for both teams, I think. Just on looking at that. Obviously they basically gave up on the Murray and Trae Young backcourt. Didn't work out the way they were hoping it would. I don't know what they're going to do with Trae Young, but this doesn't necessarily signal a rebuild per se. Because they used their pick for Ricochet for their first round pick for Ricochet, who should be able to contribute right away. 6'10", wing, can shoot and play defense. They God knows they got enough wings, but Dice Daniels, really talented young guard, Larry Nance Jr., rotation big, and they got some kind of assets. So they could kind of go either way. I mean, they could blow it up, or they could try to find something else. What is wrong with what do you think is wrong with the Hawks? Because I feel like on paper they should be a much better team than they are. Is it just coaching?
It's got to be something like it's got to be team building. I don't know how I feel about Trae Young. I feel like he's regressed a little bit.
That's the thing, because it's weird because you look at the numbers, and if you go by the numbers, he's one of the best guards in basketball. He's 25, 11 assists. He's not Curry yet. He's not Curry in terms of efficiency from the 3-point line, and obviously he's a complete liability on defense. But he is a tremendous guard. So I don't know. Maybe is it just the defense? Is it his decision making? I just feels like they should just be a much better team than they are.
Yeah, but they're not.
Yeah, they just always are just ass. Like they just have because they got pretty much everything they need. They've got a good. I mean, I guess maybe they can upgrade from Capella, but he was good with the Rockets. He can defend the rim. He's the lob threat. You got a bunch of really talented 3-and-D wings. You got shooting all over. You got a guard who's like a light Steph Curry, and they just are consistently ass. Like not even even adding DeJounte Murray, like they don't. I think part of it has to be coaching because Trae Young sucks on defense, but the rest of their team doesn't. Like they have really good defensive players on the team. I feel like it has to just be the coaching.
Trying to figure out who their coach is right now.
I know they used to have Nate McMillan.
Quinn Snyder. I mean, you'd think he's a good coach.
Yeah, he was coaching on the Jazz. He did get good work there, but then he had Rudy Gobert defending the rim during that time.
I mean, right now their projected 5 is Young, Bogdanovich, Ricochet, Jalen Johnson, and Clint Capella. I mean, that's leaves a lot to be desired. I mean, they also have Daniels. They just got DeAndre Hunter.
Yeah, those are all really good players, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, Kobe Buffkin was a first last year for them, I think.
Yeah, he's another really good player. Like on paper, like okay, you have Trae Young, you have an all-star guard who he can shoot from deep. He's one of the best pick and roll players in the game. He's elite at finishing it inside with those floaters. It's great at throwing lobs. You got lob threat, shot blocker. You've got really long wings who can shoot threes and play defense. Like they shouldn't be that ass.
Oh, well, they weren't like didn't they like shoot up like real high? Like they didn't get the number 1 pick for being complete ass. Like
no, their odds were very low.
Yeah.
They weren't a playoff team, but they're
I mean, they're almost 500. I mean, they're 36 and 46.
Yeah, but this is a team that previously went to the conference finals, so it's just like what's going like something's going on there. Like you hear rumblings that maybe it's like Trae Young selfish. People don't like Trae Young. I don't know what's going on, but they just kind of just always underperform. And maybe something will change, but yeah, they just always seem ass. I thought the rest of the draft went kind of. I know me and you both ended up agreeing on this. I don't like the Spurs trade. I don't like the Spurs trade. It's great for Minnesota.
Right. I don't understand why you're trading for a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's the new Dr. Disrespect team.
Yeah. I was like Rob was. I thought that was like a perfect compliment to like you have Stephon Castle and Rob. I thought that was like a great combination for Wemby, because one of their biggest problem was the fact that they just didn't have guards that could consistently give Wemby the ball. And you have all those viral clips of him just being wide open and not getting the ball. And so I thought the thing to address in the offseason was, okay, stop having Sohan experiment as point guard for the first time in his life and just get some actual point guards.
I thought that trade was wild. I when I tweeted, I was like, maybe I'm wrong, but no, like, you're literally trading for a 12-year-old, a kid that's like 12 years old right now. That's kind of wild.
Yeah, it's like, are they going to? Because I'm like, even if you wanted to trade for like an established veteran, like Rob Dillingham has value. like if you're like, okay, I'm gonna give you 2 future firsts, yeah, you can get some of that. But if you're trying to get some established player from a team, and you say, hey, I have Rob Dillingham, they would probably rather have Rob.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe 15 years from now, when that pick actually comes up, it'll be the number 1 pick. I don't know.
Maybe they're going to trade. Wow. Do you think they should? I don't think they should trade for Trae Young.
San Antonio?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. He's
like, because
he's got to have the ball,
Yeah, I think that's the thing people complain might be an issue. Like, he's not someone, like, because the great thing, the thing that really makes Steph Curry dangerous is not just a shooting range, it's his ability to move off the ball.
Yeah,
like that's.
I don't think of Trae Young that way.
Yeah, because he's not. Because Trae Young's style is more like Chris Paul. Like, people always compare him to Steph because he's shooting the 30-footers. But if you look at how he plays, he mostly plays like kind of a hybrid between Chris Paul and James Harden. Like, he's always got the ball in his hands. If he's off ball, he's pretty much useless, and by choice. But he's going to pound. He's not going to pound the dribble as much as Harden. Like, he'll, in the style of Chris Paul, he prefers running that pick and roll, and he'll absolutely torch you in the pick and roll every time. But that's his main thing. He'll do the Curry thing where he'll shoot from 30, but he's mainly running the pick and roll, crab, get inside, either throw the lob or shoot the floater, rather than do the Chris Paul thing and shoot the fadeaway mid range. So, which the more efficient style ball, either shoot the layup or you shoot the 3. But in terms of movement off ball, yeah, that could be an issue, and you at the end of the day, he is a huge liability on defense, and you can't really get away with that in the playoffs, like, especially now. Like, matchup hunting is very much a thing, and when has there been an NBA team that won a championship lately with like just a glaringly huge defensive liability?
I don't think so.
Like obviously Boston had none. They have literally 5 elite defenders.
At least 4. Jason Tatum is much improved, but I wouldn't call him elite.
Yeah, well, he does get he's good on the perimeter, but he does absolutely get bodied by stronger guys like Luka. But obviously the Bucks. When the Bucks won, they had a bunch of really good defenders. The Warriors team obviously had a lot of really good defenders. Like
the Nuggets,
obviously, even like people complain about Jokic, but if you actually look at the numbers and watch Jokic play, they're actually elite with him on the floor as a defender, because he uses his basketball IQ to deflect passes, steal the ball, get in the right spots. He's not going to block your shots, but he can hold his own, he can hold his ground, and he's in the right places. So he's not someone you can ruthlessly exploit. So yeah, it's just for Trae Young, really nothing you can do there. Like, so that just might be a thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. Like, I just feel like he's like regressed a bit, like, or maybe not regressed, but he just hasn't progressed enough.
I think when with someone like Trae Young, like if you're going to be that bad on defense, you have to like proportionally improve on offense. And I feel like he's mastered the pick and roll, but his shooting hasn't gotten. I think that's the one area where I would agree where he hasn't really improved. Like his problem was that he could shoot from 30, but Steph Curry shoots those at a much higher percentage, and Trae Young takes a lot of threes. He'll take a lot of deep threes, but he doesn't convert them at the rate that Curry does, and it becomes a problem.
Yeah. What other topics do we have? Because I am starting to get uncomfortable.
I think we covered everything we need to cover. Obviously, you didn't see The Voice, so we can't talk about that new episode.
Sorry,
but so we'll try.
I'll do better next week.
Try again next week. Well, I'll forgive you because you brought in a great guest. So awesome. so we can wrap it up because I know you're hurting because Evie beat your ass.
Yeah. Literally, I can't believe this 38-pound dog almost took me out.
You should be embarrassed, but
not concussed though, fortunately. But yeah,
personally,
yeah.
Next time, watch your back.
But next week we'll have been playing the First Descendant.
We will have been doing that, so we'll have some hopefully good information about the First Descendant, and because I have high hopes for the newest waifu game. And I really enjoyed the beta. I'm in their creator Discord. They've talked about adding a bunch of new improvements based on feedback. So I'm looking forward to it. July is going to be interesting. We got Comic-Con, we got Marvel Rivals. It's going to be fun.
Next Friday, actually, I might be absent because my wife and I are going to New York City. So maybe we do it a different day
for business.
We're going to Pokemon Go Fest.
Oh,
I mean, you asked.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I did. So yeah, maybe you can reschedule. I'll keep y'all posted. I'm committed to getting some more guests as well, and we'll see if we can hook this big fish that I just reached out to. Fingers crossed, because this would be a monumental get if we get this one. So we'll catch y'all next week at a time to be determined, because Jay is nerding out on Pokemon.
Listen, like I'm just thrilled that my wife and I have something that we can do together. Like there are not many. My wife is not a gamer at all, but managed to get her into Pokemon Go.
There you go.
We'll go walk around at the park for a couple hours in New York City. We're gonna stop in New Haven on the way there, because apparently New Haven is like one of the pizza meccas of the world. New Haven, Connecticut. Shockingly, there's like a few of like the most world renowned, or as far as the U.S. is concerned, pizza places are in New Haven. So
now you're making me even more hungry than I was before. So
well, there you go.
So I'm gonna make myself a nice sandwich, and we'll catch y'all next week. Thank you once again to Kahlief Adams. Definitely go subscribe to all of his socials. He's everywhere.
He's a good follow.
He's a great follow. Spawn on me pretty much on everything. He mentioned Spotify, great for TikTok. They're trying to build that up. YouTube. I dropped those links as well. Love to have him on again. I'm Scott the Gamer.
I am Jay Shocklast.
You better zip it up and zip it out. Peace, my naysayers.